Today, we're doing things a bit differently, guys. We are leaving the van here at the secure campsite in the city of Rio de Janeiro. We have a private tour guide picking us up bright and early this morning. We're going to do our best to beat the crowds to one of the most famous sites in the world. So let's go get in this tour guide's car. I think his name's Simon. Let's see how today's gonna be, guys. Rio.
Yeah. All right, we just took a ride through Rio, and honestly, it wasn't kind of like I expected. It was really nice. I expected there'd be more favelas sprawling up the hills, but super nice. What looked to be a pretty clean city to me. But we're coming up this mountain, and I am getting excited. I think we're about to get some really good views, guys.
So we've had to rearrange our day a little bit. Our first destination was supposed to be Christ the Redeemer. Of course, the most famous landmark in Rio and one of the most famous in the world. But we've got overcast weather and Christ the Redeemer is hidden by the clouds. So we are rescheduling our day. Let's go see what our guide's going to show us.
This is the first reveal. So right off that looks like a big cemetery. You can see the city, how it just wraps around all the apartment buildings. Look at this. And then there's Sugarloaf, the famous mountain in the bay. The cable cars, we will be taking those cable cars up to Sugarloaf. Let's walk around here and get a good look. Wow, incredible. Couple thoughts from our first little stop here. First of all, it's obviously a little hazy today. We were hoping for a clearer day. We were gonna go up to Christ the Redeemer, but we decided since there's haze, we're gonna push that back. But we still have this nice little vista that's not quite in the clouds, and we can look off and see a few favelas. Now, this is a little bit different than some of the other cities we've seen, like Medellin, Quito, where you can just see favelas everywhere. But here they have these monoliths just shoot up in the middle of the city. And at the floor between the monoliths are all these high-rise buildings, apartments, things like that. And then every once in a while you see a favela just push up the side of the monolith. But there's a huge bay out here that's gorgeous. We can see the condors just flying around us. The bay down there with all the signature boats. And it's really a beautiful city, I think, as everyone expects. And what's so cool is we're in a city of 15 million people, and we're right in the center of the city, but yet we're in a jungle, in a forest. And as you get up on these mountains, you kind of even hear the city noise kind of quiet down. You can hear the birds. But with the clouds, we cannot see the Christ Redeemer statue, which is right there in front of us right now. So anyway, we're gonna go off and get into some other adventures. So we found a castle inside the city. What's the name of the castle?
Castello Valentin.
Castello Valentin. So there you go. I guess now it's apartment buildings, and you can get your own little apartment here. It's for sale, and it comes with graffiti. The graffiti's free. They don't even charge you extra for it.
Yeah.
So this is a local artist who makes art out of trash. He's got a nice little stand.
Tulio or Bonzolangia. People love this art. Everybody here in Santa Teresa has something of it.
Really?
Yeah.
We're getting some little cheese-filled bread
What are these things
puffs.
called? Bounty queso. They're actually not cheese filled. It is in the dough, and they're gluten free.
Ah.
They're made of manioc. Yeah. They're made of manioc flour.
So we're grabbing a little coffee break here in this artsy neighborhood, and you kind of choose.
They put the coffee up top, ground coffee,
Bring you some hot water.
little net, and I think we just pour it through here.
See what happens. Santa Teresa is a neighborhood located on the top of the Santa Teresa Hill. It is one of the few neighborhoods to resist the big city development taking over Rio. so it still has its charm. It's famous for its winding, narrow streets, and it's an artistic hotspot. The construction of the Santa Teresa convent back in the 18th century was the beginning of the development of this neighborhood. It has natural scenery, and the chill atmosphere and easy access to downtown Rio makes it a popular neighborhood. The neighborhood has the only remaining streetcar line in Rio de Janeiro. It's currently a tourist hotspot, with loads of culture and street art everywhere. And you quickly realize that this is a tight-knit community where everyone knows everyone. It kind of feels like a small town in the middle of a big city. Luckily for us, this is where Simon lives, so he knew everyone here, and we were welcomed right in.
What is your name?
Nelson.
Nelson.
Nelson Crisóstomo.
Nelson Crisóstomo, and this is your store.
Yeah, it's a little studio.
Ah.
It's not a store, it's the place of my mind made a mistake.
I love it. It's beautiful, man. Enjoy your journey through life, man.
Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. I love your cat. What's your cat's name?
It's a blue.
Blue?
Yeah.
So now, our next stop, we're going to take you to see some very famous stairs. Celeron. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong. I'll put the name of these stairs on the screen because it's actually the artist. So in the 90s, he came out just to do a simple stair repair. But he liked the way it looked. So he started gathering up some tiles and started repairing the whole stairway. And it became such an attraction that people from all over the world started sending him unique tiles so he could continue his repairs. So now there are tiles from all over the world on this amazing staircase that you may have seen in a video by Snoop Dogg and Pharrell Williams. But we're gonna go walk up these stairs. It's gonna be a bit crowded. It is a tourist destination, but when you see it, I think you'll understand why. Now the sad thing is, he did pass away in 2013 or 14, and the police declared it a suicide. His body was actually discovered burned on these stairs. So a sad ending. So we're leaving the famous stairs. And it was a pretty cool little walk. A lot of people, I mean, people waited in line for hours to get an Instagram sitting there. We didn't wait, we just walked farther up the stairs and we videoed it as we walked. But as we were leaving, I saw a bunch of those little ribbons tied onto a fence along the stairs. So I asked Simon what the scoop was. It's a tradition that comes from the state of Bahia, which is a little farther north on the coast up by Salvador. But apparently if you tie those ribbons somewhere and you tie it with 3 knots, when it finally falls off, the wish will come true. So that's the story on those. I've seen them all over, so I'm glad now I know the scoop. By hiring a tour guide with a car, we're hoping to show you, of course, some of the famous tourist spots. But we also are excited to get to show you a little bit of the more real Rio de Janeiro. The stuff we see as we drive from tourist spot to tourist spot. And then having someone like Simon tell you the stories just kind of brings the city to life. A little bit more than just standing in an Instagram line. So we're enjoying it. I hope you guys are too. I know it's not the normal way we travel, but you're getting to see some parts of Rio not many people see. Elaborate churches can be found all across the world, showing off their glory through the language of architecture. And over the past 4 years, we have visited many. But the Rio de Janeiro Cathedral may be the only one that looks like a beehive from the future. Construction on this massive cathedral began in the late 1960s and continued into the 70s. It was designed by architect Edgar Fonseca. The modern temple was intended to echo the ancient Mayan pyramids. The church can hold as many as 20,000 people if you count the standing room areas. And it includes a museum in the basement, a much more efficient use of space than the Mayans did with their pyramids. It also has ornate features all around and these windows. I mean, guys, just look at these amazing windows. There is so much to see and do in the city of Rio, but you guys know that my beat-up heart can only handle so much walking. So instead of diving deep into all the historical center has to offer, we've picked a couple of highlights, and Simon is driving us around the rest of the neighborhood so we can get a good feel for this part of the city. Now we're headed to our next stop. Brazil used to be a part of the Portuguese Empire, hence why they speak Portuguese here rather than Spanish like the rest of Latin America. But did you know that in the early 1800s, when Napoleon's army was crossing Europe, the Portuguese royal family fled to Rio de Janeiro and declared the city the capital of Portugal. It remained the capital for 13 years. Now, Brazil gained its independence from Portugal in 1822, but you can still find a lot of Portugal history here. And this next stop is a big example of that. The stunning Brazilian library contains the largest collection of Portuguese texts outside of the country of Portugal. It rises 3 stories above the central study area, and on each wall, the book collection contained in the Royal Portuguese Cabinet of Reading has created one of the most stunning examples of a beautiful library on the planet, as well as showing the history and just how much writing actually came out of the country of Portugal. The library doors opened in 1887, and they were founded by a trio of Portuguese immigrants who wanted to bring their country's literary tradition to the newly independent nation of Brazil.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Copacabana. This is a place that Snow definitely wanted to get down and see. She is excited to get down here. I honestly wanted to see it too, so we're excited to get down here, but we are gonna have some lunch at a little place Simon knows very well. It's supposed to have some world-renowned, get this, bar food.
I would truly love to experience the full effect of Copacabana and Ipanema Beach in the summertime. Walk on the beach and experience the crazy vibes. But it is winter, and our time here is short. So we just did a full drive-by of the 2 most famous beaches in the world. Just catching a glimpse of these 2 beaches makes you feel relaxed. Oh, and you probably cannot help but hear the 2 famous songs. Don't worry, I'm not going to let Curt sing. So this is the restaurant Simon has brought us to, Bar do David. Do they say it David?
Bar do David.
Bar do David. And he has some championship dishes. He won some stuff in 2022, 2016, 2017, 13, 15. And guess what? We ordered 5 of them. We're gonna give them all a try.
So the guy actually, not only did he win all these awards, but he also carried the torch for the Olympic Games, which were right here in Rio de Janeiro.
Seems like he's a bit of a legend.
Yep.
And we had to drive through some curvy favela roads to get here.
Yep. And we had to tuck the cameras away.
Yeah, no filming in the favela roads. It's not allowed. If you don't know, a favela is a neighborhood, the ones that kind of go up these steep hills where a lot of the locals live.
Que es referência?
Diferente. Bolinho de abóbora com óleo por noves e enfiado de camarão.
Ah.
It's like the pumpkin fried
Oh, this
balls
is the
with flavored with that cactus.
With that leaf.
With that leaf, and then with the shrimp filling.
All right, there's one. That's a lot of sauce, a lot of confidence today. Snow's confidence has been growing throughout the day.
All right, here we go.
It's kind of squirting out the end there.
It's really good.
It looks kind of eggy. Mmm. That's what I'm talking about.
It's
Crispy
good,
on the
right?
outside. Almost tastes a little cheesy, shrimpy, fried,
Gritty.
gooey. Good. Good, good, good.
This was the 2022 competition winner.
Grand prize winner.
Fried corn buns with
Little pork.
No, with shredded jerk beef.
Shredded jerk beef. So like a little sandwich of goodness.
These are
Yeah,
gourmet
little
sliders.
Yeah.
Little sliders.
Little sliders.
All right, here.
Look at the little fancy corn blanket.
So this one, the outside looks similar, but it's filled with like shredded beef, I guess. Oh, Snow likes that one. I can tell by the look on her face already. That's more in her alley.
Mushy corn bun things that they make.
The mushy corn bun things are good.
They really are. All right, Kurt's got to dig in now.
So this actually translated as 2 sausage tacos, and instead, you can see it, it's like deep fried chorizo
Yeah.
with potato chips. So no doubt this is gonna be,
Mango chips.
no doubt. Mmm.
Kurt's gonna like it.
Fried sausage, are you kidding me? This is amazing. I wouldn't even know if I call it bar food, but it's like,
This is not fried cheese sticks and potato skins like you would get at home. This is legit gourmet food.
it's like tapas. So I just had a bite of one of these ribs, and I can tell you, they are amazing. They're super tender, but on the outside, they're crispy.
They're crispy.
And I don't even need the pineapple chutney, just the flavor alone.
No, I like the chutney. The final dish has arrived. The famous seafood salad.
And
There is
it's-
all kinds of good stuff in there, and I will not eat any of it.
It is piled high, and it looks good.
This is all Kurt and Simon. Dig in, guys,
That's
dig
the way of
in.
cabbage we like.
Yeah. What else in there, Kurt? Shrimp.
That's a shrimp.
There's some peppers in there.
Yeah.
There's some shrimp.
I see octopus, rosemary.
Octopus. This looks like squid.
Yep.
So got a good flavor.
And then there's like white beans, bell peppers.
All right, guys, our day in Rio is winding down. Now, don't worry, we are going to spend more time here. But the last event we have planned for the day is to ride the cable cars up to the top. That is Sugarloaf, probably the most epic monolith in the world, the most photographed. And this is out here in the bay, and it is beautiful. We're walking out here to the beach, and you can see on today there's people out here. Yesterday was rainy, but the sun has come out a little bit, and it has definitely brought people out to the beach.
Sugarloaf Mountain, the second most famous tourist spot in Rio. Second, of course, to the famous Christ the Redeemer statue. But this huge chunk of granite can stand all on its own, and it actually stands 369 meters tall. In 1912, the cable cars were installed to take tourists to the top. This was the first cable car system like this installed in Brazil, and only the third in the world. But you do not have to take the cable car to the top. Adventurous rock climbers can choose between 270 different paths to the top. But do not worry, much to Kurt's dismay, we will be taking the cable car to the top. There are actually 2 cable car systems. The first gets you almost to the top, and the second gets you to the tippy top, and both levels have amazing views of this famous city and this beautiful bay. The famous tram car from the James Bond Moonraker movie is now a tattoo studio.
So it's pretty cool. The first little landing spot, they have some really nice vistas of the bay, the city, the airport. You can even see the helicopter rides that come in and fly over. Oh, and monkeys too, look. Oh my God.
Everything's starting to clear up. It's a little hazy, except for right there on the top of that mountain, just in the distance, inside that one cloud, is the Christ the Redeemer statue. So we made the right choice to put that off till tomorrow. Y'all keep your fingers crossed it clears up there so we can see it tomorrow. All right, heading up to the second story.
Sugarloaf.
So Pau de Azucar. So that's our next stop right up there. Simon just told us they're building a zip line. So for future people that come to Rio, maybe in about a year, you will be able to go up there and zip line down.
All right, guys, we are about to leave, and Christ Redeemer, let me zoom in here. You can kind of see it up there in the haze, I think. But we are about to leave this beautiful spot up here on Sugarloaf.
Day one in Rio de Janeiro is winding down. And I say day one because we have a whole other day with Simon to see the rest of the amazing Rio de Janeiro, hopefully including a clear view of Christ the Redeemer. But you guys are going to have to wait until the next video for that, because this is where we're going to wind this video down. We're going to head back to the camp, get to the van, check on the kitties, get a good night's rest, because tomorrow Simon picks us up again, bright and early. Cheers, guys. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys.